to Albinism Talk with Marvelyn, with your host, Marvelyn Green. Before I introduce our guest, please follow Yell for Change on all social media platforms and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Without further ado, we have an amazing guest today. She's all the way from South Africa, across the continent from me. She is a asset to albinism. She is a model. She is an actress. And she is the CEO and founder of Proud Albinism. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Anneline Mathiba. Welcome to Albinism Talk with Marvelyn. How are you, my sister?
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. So, Anneline, so please introduce yourself to the audience and to those who are listening in the room.
My name is Anneline Mathiba. Hello, Yell for Change. My name is Anneline Mathiba, all the way from South Africa. I'm 31 years old. I am a model, actress, presenter, as well as the founder and CEO of Proud Albinism.
Amazing. Did you just say model for a second? And you say you're 31 as well?
Yes, I'm 31.
Wow.
A lot of people are shocked.
I'm 32, so we're just in that same age group. So it's
yay! Yippee! I'm sure I look a lot younger, so.
But the thing is, you look good. Honestly, people will ask me if I'm 32, and I'm like, yeah, I'm 32. But it's just the way how you take care of yourself. So yeah,
that's
kudos to you.
Thank you. Kudos to you too. So kudos to us.
Yes, Queen. Yes, yes. Definitely. So, Anneline, I want to ask the question about your educational side pertaining to having albinism. So, in your primary years, did you have any accommodations? For example, like extra time in your exams. Did teachers make any preparations for you to learn? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, you were breaking a bit. Can you say that again, please?
I said the question I would like to ask you from your your side of things, educational wise, did you have accommodations? Did you have any accommodations, like, for example, extra time in your exams? Did you have to sit in the front of the class? Did you have extra large prints in your primary years and secondary years?
Not at all, because nobody was aware of my weak eyesight. Nobody knew that I can't see far. So my mom had to do most of the fighting because teachers did not understand that I cannot see far. Kids did not understand. Even though I was wearing glasses, I still could not see. Even though I can drive with my glasses on. Funny enough, I can see the road signs, I can see the boards, I can see, but at school it was pretty much different because what I can say is that the road signs are bold and everything. They're nice and big. But at school, it was someone else's handwriting, It was a challenge for me to see, especially my eyesight. So in my primary years, my mom had to fight for me to see. My mom had to make teachers understand that, because teachers would be ignorant. They're like, just send it to a special school. My mom is like, I'm not taking her there. She's not going to a special school. She's attending this school. And you will accommodate my child. Teachers knew her. Everybody knew her. So they'll be like, and you sit in the front before your mom comes to shout at us. So they knew her well. She took no nonsense.
Anneline's mom. Yes, mama.
Shout out to my mama.
Yes, mom. I respect you for that. Respect goes out to you, honestly. Because you see, the thing is, right? Albinism is, excuse me, albinism is misunderstood. It's misunderstood because because people make assumptions about our eyesight and they make assumptions about why we look a certain way, quote unquote. But the truth is of the matter, like, until you know what a person's going through, you can't make assumptions. You understand me? So
Mhm.
I'm very proud of the fact that your mom had to stand her ground with you and to support you, you know, regardless. So yeah, congratulations to you and your mom and that. Well done, mom. Honestly, I'm proud of mommy.
Thank you,
Well done.
hon.
So the question I want to ask is, and every guest that I have, I ask this question is, when did you know your skin was different from your family? When did you know? It's at what age?
I never really asked. I never really asked, I never really questioned my condition. I was always proud of the way that I am because my parents told me I'm beautiful from the day that I was young. They always encouraged me. They're like, look at yourself. You look like a Barbie doll. So I always told people, oh, look, I look like a Barbie doll. I never questioned my condition. Whenever I would come out in pictures, I'm like, oh, look at me. I look better than everyone else. I always had that mentality, because I think as a child, it starts with the home that you come from, because your
Yes.
family has to groom you for the outside world, so that if someone says anything bad about you and you're like, no, that's not true. My mom and dad said that I look like a Barbie doll, you know. So sorry, I never really questioned my condition, but the only thing that I questioned that bothered me was my eyesight.
Hmm.
Because I backled to see. But otherwise, I've always been proud of who I am. I've always been proud of my hair, my skin color, and
Love the skin we're
uh,
in, sis.
oh yes, oh yes. So
Love
I've
the
never
skin.
really questioned, because I have an older brother with albinism as well.
Oh
So
wow.
yes,
Oh wow, that's
so
interesting.
yes. So like the both of us, because people thought we are twins. People think we are twins. Other people think that we're a couple. So, like, we never really, my brother and I never went to ask my mom, why are we this way? Why are we? No, 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 no. My parents always made sure that they give us the best medical care that money can buy. You know, my
Yes.
parents would sacrifice everything for us to have the best skincare, the best eyewear, especially when it came to our education. My mom sacrificed buying a new car and took me to tertiary school. So my parents sacrificed a lot. So yes.
Oh, bless your heart, man. Do you know what? I considered this as a blessing for you because not every PWA has this privilege of going to school. And I done a talk last week when I started this podcast, I done a talk with Pinky, and I don't know if she might kill me for saying this, but she said that in certain parts of South Africa, that
Mhm.
some parents don't send their children to school, especially if you have albinism. Is that true?
Mm, it might be in the rural areas. I cannot say it's true, but there is a special school for people with albinism, and that's not true because
Mm.
mostly in the rural areas, resources are limited. So that could be the reason, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to mostly health wise, when it comes to sunscreen, sun
Oh yeah.
protection, which is the reason why they don't send their kids to school because there's no transport because kids must walk, first of all.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes, kids must walk long distances to school. So I think that is also one of the main reasons why, because other kids with albinism don't have hats, don't have umbrellas. When they get to school, they can't see. Teachers cannot accommodate their eyesight. Kids are teasing them. Even parents don't know how to go about protecting their children, or sometimes it's a lack of information,
Yeah.
especially in the rural areas. So I
Mm.
think that could be the reason. But in most cases, people with albinism are educated. My brother is a mechanical engineer. I studied tourism. Many people with albinism are moving up in the corporate world. So that's not true.
Mm.
And there's many other kids with albinism. I have a 16-year-old girl in my Proud Albinism group, and she goes to school. You know, she tells me, Auntie Anneline, I can't do the photo shoot. I have to do this and this for school. And when she did her first photo shoot, her parents came to support her. Her whole family, they were all cheering her. They're like, oh, look at Joy, she's posing. It was so beautiful. And I remember when we did the photo shoot, it came out on Italian Vogue. Italian Vogue loved the photo shoot. It was for International Albinism Awareness Day, June 13th. So
Was it this year's
yes,
Albinism
this
Awareness?
year's photo. Yes, this year's photo shoot for June. So today we were unable to do some things because we had a wedding ceremony at home. So I couldn't really maneuver a lot of things because they depended on me a lot. So yeah.
You also mentioned that about the accommodations in the special schools. Do they have like brailles and enlarged prints? Do you know of that? If they do accommodate for PWAs in that way for enlarged prints and brailles
Yes, they
for
do.
the eyesight?
Yes, they do. They do because the people with albinism that I know, they went to special schools. It's special schools for people that are visually. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It's a huge fly. For people that are visually impaired, for people that like for different kinds of disabilities. It's not only PWA. You know, they cater for all the disabilities. So the school is only for children with disabilities. So yeah, they do have all kinds of reasonable accommodation that you can think of.
Right. That's good though, because I just think that I know there's certain places are underprivileged and there's some places are privileged. So really it all depends on the area that you grew up in South Africa, right?
Yes, that's true. Especially in the rural areas. I've never seen any any special school for people with disabilities. And so most of the kids from the rural areas have to come to the urban area to get
Mm-hmm.
to get a school that has reasonable sorry about that, that has
It's okay.
reasonable accommodation. Yeah, so that's how it is in South Africa.
Oh, wow. The fact that, so moving on to the next question, I'm going to ask about Proud Albinism because this is a
Mhm.
project. When I look at the word proud, it sends a message and it really makes a statement that you're very proud of the skin that you're in. So please explain to the audience, when did Proud Albinism, when was this project established? And
Proud
why
Albinism
Proud Albinism?
is Proud Albinism is a model entertainment platform that builds confidence, diversity, leadership, as well as teaches the masses about the condition of albinism. So what we basically do, we also organize photo shoots for people with albinism who want to be models, or we also do like themed photo shoots for Albinism Awareness Month. We assist people with albinism with their eyesight. We assisted two young boys who didn't have glasses at school and couldn't see. We were able to book a low vision eye test for them. They were able to get a low vision eye test and receive glasses in order to see at school. We also hand out reading glasses as well as skincare products, as well as books about understanding albinism, especially to parents who have children with albinism and don't understand the condition. So in terms of the books, we work hand in hand with the University of Cape Town. The author herself sends us the books. And then she went through with me about the books. And I love the books, the fact that the books are in huge, large print and the books are printed in bold. So
That's good.
yes, so that's what Proud Albinism does in a nutshell. And tomorrow we have another appointment for a little girl. Her name is Anesu Masilela. She has a low vision specialist appointment tomorrow, and her parents are taking her there. And we are recently assisting a young guy. He's a grown up, but then so that he can be able to get his eyes tested so that he can get his driver's license. in order to drive trucks for now. So that's what Proud Albinism does. We couldn't do an event, we couldn't do a photo shoot this year because of time consuming and family responsibilities.
Yeah,
So
circumstance that we can't control, unfortunately.
yeah.
So when was Proud Albinism established? What year did this project start?
Started on the 28th of September, which is today. Proud Albinism is turning 2. Woohoo!
Oh, wow. Well, Alpha Change started on the 6th of September, so we just started a 1 year anniversary. So this is how we know it all started with the pictures, and now gonna do this talk. So happy anniversary to us.
Thank you, my darling. Happy anniversary to Yell for Change as well. So yes, so today Proud Albinism turns 2. We launched by doing a fashion show only for people with albinism. And yeah, we plan to do an even bigger fashion show. So we're still waiting for funding, which is a mission to get. So
Yeah. Wow. Do you know what? I really like that statement, proud albinism. That to me is so eye-catchy than any other, okay, Yell for Change is there, but when you say proud albinism, it's like you're proud. It's for me, it's just like, I'm proud of having to be looking different, and even though I'm the only one in my family that has albinism, but it sometimes I see it as a good thing to be proud of something, be proud of this condition. I treat albinism as my asset now. I don't even see it as a liability, I see it as a blessing. And I love the skin that I am in.
absolutely.
So moving on to the next question now. Regards to in South Africa, is the discrimination high towards PWAs?
It is, I mean, discrimination is everywhere because people don't understand what we go through. People don't understand who we are because sometimes people mistaking you for a different race, Yeah, sometimes it gets annoying because sometimes people talk about you and they don't know that you understand the African language that they're talking. Yeah, so sometimes people find out that I'm a person with albinism and then they get shocked. Some of them are like, oh, okay, you're a person with albinism. Like reactions are different. But the most disgusting part is when the discrimination comes from adults because they know that you're a person
Oh
with albinism.
gosh, yeah.
Yes. And it's not
Yeah.
like they've never seen a person with albinism before. They have, It's just, I just hate the difference. If it's kids, I understand. Kids don't know any better. But when it's an adult, it's just absolutely disgusting. I remember I had to call the cops on one of the guys who were blocking my way when I was in town the other day, and I had to call the cops, and they had to come and give them a serious warning and stuff like that. So it just depends. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry that you had to go through that.
I don't know, what can I say? I don't know.
Because I heard of the stories of, PWAs where I know about the myths, and I will touch on that in a bit, but I just wanted to kind of like say that the stories I've heard is that a person of albinism in South Africa is like some people, they make derogatory comments. They'll probably shout out derogatory statements towards a PWA, which I find it I think is the lowest of the low, to be honest. Like, why are you? Yeah, it's not appropriate. And then on top of that, there are some PWAs that have self-esteem issues, and they have, they don't have confidence. Not every PWA has confidence, and some do, some don't. It all depends. But as far as I'm concerned, I think discrimination of any kind or any sort of negative stigma I don't tolerate that at all. I don't tolerate that personally because I just think you're using ignorance to to do these things, and ignorance is no defense.
It's not bliss.
Nah, it's not. It's not bliss at all. So moving on to the next question, and I'm not going to talk about it now. The myths. This is a big thing why Yell for Change started advocating is because of these dangerous violence towards PWA in southern parts of Africa. And I'm very honest with you, I heard about this stuff, but I never thought this was real. I never thought this was true. I said, no way.
It sounds unbelievable. I know, because when
no way.
the issue was investigated and when we saw the brutal killings, because an investigative journalist went undercover to show what was happening, because it was said that people with albinism do not die, they disappear. But it's not true, because people with albinism were being abducted and killed for ritual murderers and ritual killings, because of the myth that people believe that we have some sort of luck or magical power, because it's either we have luck or it's either we're a curse. I don't know. It just goes both ways. Sorry, with the stupid beliefs that they have about us people with albinism. So when they say we don't die, it's because we get abducted by these idiots who kill us for money and ritual murderers.
And I heard about the black markets as well, right?
Yes, an arm of a person with albinism costs about 90K, from 90K and above.
90,000 what? African dollars?
It can be dollars, it can be rands. It depends on which currency it is.
If that is in UK, 90K, that would be about, I would say, in the £100,000. So an arm can cost you £100,000. Or a leg can cost you £200,000.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't think it was that to the level of that. Wow.
Africans are really, really stupid.
I am mystified.
One another.
I am mystified by this. This is a next level of brutality and stupidity as well.
Yeah.
And the thing is, where I saw a post, and I don't know if you did, I did post it on the Yell for Change Facebook as well, and my personal Facebook, about that little 12-year-old boy. Jesus,
who was
man.
neglected.
Oh,
who
God.
was neglected by his mother. And sometimes the family blames the mother, but they don't know that the albinism gene comes from both sides of the family.
Right.
The father has the mother has the gene. Like, everybody has the albinism gene, but they don't know it, because the gene can skip 5 generations down. Because you can find that 5 generations back, there was a person with albinism.
Because
but nobody knows.
I had it in my family as well, but I think either somebody in my family member had it, but I don't know who it was. But as it stands, it's me that has albinism. And the thing is, that's what I got to learn, and I'm educating my friends and family about it. I said, you lot are carriers of the gene, because your kids may not come up with it now.
They are carriers.
But you are a carrier, and there is like a 25 to 50% chance of your parents or you could have a child with albinism. And that's something that I've learned. And I was like, wow. And my mom and dad are of a light skinned. They're very light skinned. But when I look at them and I say, yep, mom, you're a carrier, so is dad. And why the ridicule? Why the rejection? Why doing all these things to somebody that, it's not their fault that they're born this way. It's not our fault that we came out this way, And the thing is, I'll tell you a myth, and I don't want to be graphic, and forgive me, but in the Caribbean, they want to say that the woman had sex with a man while she was on her period.
Oh my goodness, that's stupid. Stupid. It is so stupid.
I know. That's what they said. That the women had sex on their period, so the child came out with albinism. And then on top of that, the next one is I heard about the woman sleeping with a white man. That's another thing I
Yeah.
heard.
A friend of mine was asked that question by a nurse, a whole nurse, a person who's in the medical field and supposed to be aware of this condition. Like, did you sleep with a white man? That's just ridiculous, you know. Because if you can see, my parents, my father was very dark skinned. My mom is light skinned with brown eyes. My mom used to have ginger hair, but all her hair is black now. So, because you could definitely see that she's a carrier. It's ridiculous.
Girl, I know this is not. I laugh at the ignorance. I would never laugh at any PWAs that's suffering this, but I laugh at the ignorance of people.
The
And
ignorance,
another
of
thing,
course, is crazy.
I mean, and another thing that I have to. This one really took me out. I'm sorry, and I will not laugh at anyone who has HIV or AIDS. None of that. I don't wish that on nobody. That's not something I take for joke. But I laugh at the fact that the people who come with these idiotic statements about a person with albinism can cure HIV and AIDS.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Yeah. I forgot about that statement because that's also the first statement. You know, the first statement that I heard is like, we don't die, we disappear. The second one, it's about HIV and AIDS. It's very stupid.
Girl,
It's
as I
ridiculous.
said, I'm not laughing
We
at
are not
anyone who's suffering that. I would never laugh at anyone who has that, but I'm laughing
but
at
the
the ignorance. It's the
But the
ignorance I'm
fact that
laughing
they're
at.
saying that we can cure it. How can we cure diseases? How can we? I mean, it's very stupid.
Girl.
Very, very stupid.
Girl. I literally laugh because how can a person say a person with albinism can cure AIDS instead of it curing it? You're giving it, idiots. You know what I'm saying?
You idiots.
You're a fool. You know,
it's
you're a
mostly
fool.
people who are in denial. They're idiots. They are morons.
That's the thing. Not only you're ignorant. I'm thinking to myself, who in God's blue hell comes out with these type of myths that a person with albinism can cure diseases like AIDS? And and another thing as well, when I was watching a video, someone tagged me on Yell for Change about albinism with the COVID as well. That's another one. That's another one.
What?
Oh God.
What about COVID? That we cure COVID. They're stupid. It's ridiculous. We do not do such things. We don't do such things. They are stupid.
They're talking about albinism
Are
and
you
COVID.
serious?
I'm telling you. Listen, man.
Stupid. How can people with albinism cure COVID?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Girl, it's better to laugh. It's better to laugh at these things than to be angry. You know, you gotta laugh at these things. You have to. You have to laugh at. You got to laugh because I think it's hilarious. To be fair, I think it's
stupid.
Hilarious.
My word. Oh my word.
Wow. Sorry. Wow.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm gonna ask about your mom and dad now. It's pertaining to, you said that you have a brother with albinism, right?
Yes.
Did they face any stigma in the community? Did they face any form of prejudice and, any form of negative comments or stigma towards them?
No, not at all. The community has been very protective of my brother and I. Should ever anything happen to us, or should ever anyone yell help, they will come running.
Wow.
No, the community has not been like, it's mostly been people that don't know us and people that have never been near us.
Yeah.
And if ever there are any discriminations or derogatory comments, a community member would call that person to order immediately.
Wow.
Yeah.
That,
And they'll be like,
wow.
stop it. Yeah.
Honestly, that is wow. I mean, this is the first time I've actually heard this. Like, and it's very rare that, communities will stand up for the rights. And that is a very, very good thing. Kudos to the community, wherever you're from. Okay. Thank you for loving my sister and my brother. And thank you. Honestly, from the UK, I'm saying keep up the good work, keep spreading the message. Albinism is not a curse, it's a blessing. Albinism is not a disease, it's a genetic condition. So let's keep spreading the message. And one of the 4 E's with Yell for Change is to educate. So educating somebody or education is very important. It's very important because without knowledge, you don't know. And knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, definitely.
So I'm very glad that your parents is getting the support from the community. And I mean, to be honest with you, the stories that I've read online about parents abandoning their children because of albinism, it really breaks my heart to know this. And the fact is, the fathers will step out on their mothers thinking them woman cheat on them, bloody, bloody, blah. And to hear this positive, it's a very good look. Honestly.
Of course. The people in my community where I grew up, they are kind people. Yeah, man, I've known them all my life. Some of them raised me, some of them protected me, some of them, like they have done a lot of things for me. So, like that would happen to a person or me. Like the community intervenes in my neighborhood, even if crime happens, like everything comes to a standstill.
So you've had the positive.
Because something happened as coming in.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had the positive.
So you've had the positive from the internal and the external. So you've had it from the community and then and your family. So you see, like extended family members, right? How do they treat you as a person with albinism?
Extended families are okay. They are proud of me. They're proud to have, because I have a cousin who gave birth to a child with albinism, and then the child is what I think is 4 years now, 4 years or 5 years now, and my brother's name is Simpiwe. So when my cousin gave birth to a child with albinism, she gave us a call and said, "Oh, I have a little Simpiwe. I just gave birth to little Simpiwe." We just knew that it was a child with albinism. So which means the gene is mostly stronger from my mom's side. We haven't really had much more people from, apparently the people from my dad's side are there, but we don't know of them. I think it's been many generations back. But from my mom's side, it's me. Oh, and I had a cousin with albinism. I think a niece, she passed away when she was 1 year, 6 months old. Yeah, because of the negligence at a local hospital where she was not taken care of properly. Yeah. And then she passed away. Because there's been a saying that they've never seen the grave of a person with albinism. I'm like, you moron, a grave will never write that there's a person with albinism lying here. You know, it'll write it's so and so lying here in this grave. It'll never say it's a person with albinism. So there is a grave. A little baby that's 1 year 6 months has a grave, and I remember seeing my niece in that coffin. You know, I remember she had a red hat, and the coffin was white. I remember I witnessed everything. So you can never say that you've never seen the grave of a person with albinism. Because when there was a person with albinism who was buried, he passed away due to skin cancer. His name was
Mhm.
Xolani Mkhize. And when he
Mhm.
was buried, his grave was vandalized and they chopped off
Jeez.
his legs to go and sell when
Oh,
they say
so
they've never seen. Because
that,
they
that,
said people with albinism don't die. And as soon as there was a grave of a person with albinism, they went to dig up the grave, take out the body, and chop off the legs. It's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, because you know when I done this talk the other day, when there was a discussion about where they don't bury a PW if a PWA passes away, they don't
They
bury them
disappear.
publicly, they bury them in the nighttime. So this is true then. They bury them in the nighttime
What?
because of the yeah, because I was told by one of the
Because
listeners
of the
that
what?
they said that they bury them in the night because of these rituals and they dig up their graves for that. So they say, oh, they vanish,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
That's true. They
Wow.
don't vanish. They get kidnapped
They get
and
kidnapped to the
sold.
death and even killed. So,
Someone.
and that's the thing. It's so not even the dead can have its resting place. Where is the dignity of people, man?
Africans. Africa is killing us. That's what I can say. Africa is killing us. Africans are killing us because what white people were doing to them, now they're doing it to us.
Yeah, they're
They're
inflicting the
even
very
doing
thing. Yeah,
exactly. They're even doing the worst things by killing us. No.
yeah. I I
Yeah.
can I can actually I cannot just say, well, it's these things make you angry and make your blood boil to know that your own community or
Mm.
your own race is doing this barbaric,
Your
unspeakable.
own race.
Yeah, wow. I honestly have to say that it's
Our
it's
our race fell out.
I don't know what to say anymore. It's too much. It's overwhelming to know that your own people
It
doing
is.
this, and sometimes it's your own family as well.
Mm-hmm.
Your own family can sell you out big time. And even your close friends can, even a husband or even a boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
can even sell you out, you know? But I've learned, dealing with,
Oh my word, you're breaking.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello? What hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you
You
hear
are
me?
breaking. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Oh, for goodness sake. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you
Yeah. Much better?
much better, but you keep freezing.
I don't know. It's just the internet's really slow. I'm not sure why it's playing up today. I don't know why. Hold on 1 second.
Can you see
Um,
me? Can you hear me?
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I've learned so much about this. Oh my gosh, even having albinism, I'm still learning about it. In my 32 years on this earth, I'm still learning about it. I'm still learning. about albinism. And do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was the only one born this way.
No, I was not. Whenever I would see someone like me with albinism, I was like, a person that looks like me, and I would,
Yay. But the thing
yeah.
is, I was happy that for me, I went to school in Jamaica
Mm-hmm,
and primary school with a young guy with
mm-hmm,
albinism. So it was a lot of,
mm-hmm,
it was okay, you know. But obviously, like I said, back home, they, some people, I was with my grandmother and they'd be like, nothing's wrong with you. They say nothing wrong with your skin and you're beautiful and stuff like that. And in the UK
mm-hmm,
now, I had accommodations. I had enlarged prints in the front of the class, extra time in my exams. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
So I had those accommodations for
mm-hmm.
me. But I just think that there are some people who have albinism, they don't have that privilege, maybe because of the poverty, limited resources, maybe other circumstances which but I've learned so much about this condition. It's so much to learn from. It's so much to
Absolutely.
learn. And yeah, I may not be a doctor or anything, but nobody can tell me how I feel in my own skin.
Exactly. Not like no matter how much research they can do, no matter how much knowledge doctors may have about us, I'm the one that's living with my condition. I know how to handle it, you know. So
Mhm.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've been
Yeah,
living with this condition all my life.
yeah, exactly. Same here. So you can't tell me, no matter, okay, yeah, you done all these research and all these things, but to physically live with something
Hmm.
that is, it's a lifetime condition. It's not something that you can just say, let me take an injection, magic potion, and just inject and put melanin in the skin, hair, and eyes. It's something that is, you know what I mean? I
But
know
then these days people bleach and they want to be like us. I'm like, huh? People want to,
I'm glad
yeah,
you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that
yeah. I'm
because
like,
I
people
don't
bleach. They
understand.
wanna have albinism.
I don't understand that at all. Why bleaching? And then when you bleach your skin, you can't go in the sun because your skin becomes brittle to the sun. I don't
Hmm.
understand that. And then the chemicals you put in your skin, you're damaging your melanin. And if you want to start bleach, you have to use special cream to really maintain it.
Hmm.
That's what I don't
Now
understand.
they know what it's like to be us for a second, hidden
Yes.
for a second. They pay a lot of money to look like us.
And the
We are
thing is
born.
that they bleach their hair blonde. Like they
Ah,
bleach their hair. Oh, good grief. They
these
dye their
people
hair.
want to
I'm like,
have
what?
albinism. They want to have albinism. No,
Well,
it's nice to be us. We are born this way.
yeah, we were born this way. We're meant to stand out, man. And that's something that I'm proud of. That be proud of who I am. Love the skin I'm in. And having a friend and a sister that's so proud of her albinism. So respect.
Oh yeah, let's be
So,
proud of
yeah,
who we are.
so is there any other projects that you're working on apart from Proud
Um,
Albinism?
apart from Proud Albinism, I'm currently doing a learnership with Media 24 for now.
Mm-hmm.
But Proud Albinism has been the only project that I have been working on. Because recently, all that we have been doing, sorry, sorry about that.
I'm so tired.
No, I usually take my naps around this time.
Oh
So,
wow. Oh wow.
so all that we have been doing as Proud Albinism, sorry, is organizing appointments for people with albinism because a low
Mm-hmm.
vision specialist is expensive. It starts from 1,000 rand and above. So the University of Johannesburg are usually student doctors that are studying
Right.
eye care and they
Okay.
assist people with albinism. So we are glad that we are able to assist, especially children that are less privileged and living with albinism, for them to go and be able to get their eyes tested because I Eyewear is very expensive. You know,
Mm-hmm.
spectacles are very expensive. They go for about
Yeah, yeah,
10,000 rand to 12,000
yeah, I know
rand.
what you mean.
So we really we are thankful to the University of Johannesburg for assisting us with such such beautiful medical aids. What should I say? Is it medical spectacle aids, or how do I?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm so glad. It's a blessing that we are able to assist people with albinism, as well as parents who are trying. Some parents are really trying hard to give the best to their kids, but sometimes they cannot afford. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
um,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Going back to what I'm saying, like some
mm,
people may not, due to financial circumstances, and that they can't afford to send their kids to school or to give them the right um, support, in other words, then the right support for their child's needs. And I'm sure that it can be stressful at times, for a parent. And when
mhm.
you want to send your child to school, but the money is not there to pay for their education and to cover, you know, certain things.
With the government school, it doesn't cost so much. But if you can't afford to pay, the government does give you grace because a child has to come and get education no matter what. But
Right.
sometimes when it comes to reasonable accommodation, it becomes a bit of an issue because sometimes if a child with albinism goes to a normal school, I'm sorry. If a child with albinism goes to a normal school, reasonable accommodation is most of the time not there.
Hmm. Unless the parent has to kind of like maybe pay somebody to really support that child in that way. And
Not
like I
really. You
said,
don't have to pay. The school must
okay.
cater for the kid.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you do not. It's a government school, and most of the schools for people with disabilities, they are not government schools. They are mostly private schools. So
Oh, I
yes.
see.
So
I
if there's
see.
reasonable accommodation, the government must cater to people with disabilities and people with albinism.
Wow. Interesting. That's very, oh, that's a lot to take into. Hey, whoa. My notes, God. Next time I need to get notepad and pen, start writing down
Please
things.
do.
Because
Please
as a
do.
part of your change, it's about educating, and because of COVID and everything,
Hmm.
I can't travel, can't do anything. I'm
Mm.
restricted right now. Can't do anything.
Are you
Now,
still on lockdown in the UK?
yeah. No, we're not in lockdown, but
But it's just much harder to travel with
because
COVID.
of the travel restrictions, yeah, it's a lot harder to travel. We're not in lockdown, thank God. The country started opening back up, so I'm very happy about that. Let's move on to the question of the question: mental health.
Can you please hold on as I go to the bathroom? Please give me one
Sure,
moment.
sure,
Sorry about that. Hold on.
sure. But, guys,
I'm back.
hi, hi, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, I can see
Now I can see
you.
myself. Whew.
Yay,
So you
Dolly.
couldn't see me.
Now you,
You couldn't.
yeah, I could. It was a, I don't know. The camera must have froze, but yeah, I can see you finally. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's okay. I had a little bit of pause moment. Um. So the question I wanted to ask you is the mental health. And this is a very, very uncomfortable for some people, but this has to be talked about, sis. It has to be. So is that even for your from in your view, is this topic mental health spoken about in the PWA community where you're from?
Absolutely not. You know, when you say the mental health, it's the first time I hear you talk about it. I'm like, okay, that is interesting.
Yeah,
So when you say mental health, I
yeah.
want to understand what aspect,
The aspect of the mental health.
from
Okay,
what aspect
so the aspect
are
of the
you
mental health
talking
I'm
about?
gonna go into is like the psychological impact of having albinism. So in terms of, when you hear the stories of people being bullied, being abandoned by family members, or in other case, maybe physically and sexually abused, right? And as these are uncomfortable conversations that they need to be talked about, because even though you have the condition physically, right, sis, the mental health is real. It's there, like people if they're having depression, suicide thoughts, or having, you know, the other mental health issues pertaining, obviously, but especially in the PWA community, that some people find it very difficult to speak about their mental health. And I think it's important that we need to expose this, expose it, because it's not healthy to suffer in silence. It's not healthy.
Yeah, when it comes to mental health, a lot of people with albinism do suffer in silence. I think it starts from a young age, when
Yeah.
reasonable accommodation is not
Hmm.
provided. You know, some parents, like I said, are not aware of the condition of their children. They're not aware that their children don't have a weak eyesight. Because I did see some people with albinism posting that, oh, when did your parents realize that you have a weak eyesight? When did you? My parents knew from like my
Man,
mom knew, yeah, like from birth, like my mom knew exactly how to take care of us as soon as she gave birth to us. She knew, she gave birth to us. You know, she knew, because when there was another child with albinism in the family, they came to my mom for advice and guidance, and my mom was more than happy to assist.
mom is an expert.
So mom is an expert. Mom is an expert. Mom knows exactly what to do. So yeah.
Yes. Mama goes back to the credit goes to mama again.
Of
Mama gets the
course,
credit.
mama gets the credit all the
So,
time.
so for me, like, I mean, because of the whole, and even with the whole killings and violence. So we talk about it's done. I have to touch on the mental health, because can you imagine you lose an arm, or you lose a leg, or you lose a body part. That must dawn on somebody's mental health, man. The trauma of it, and they say the aftermath it's
The
more
trauma.
traumatic than the actual event.
You know, not only the killings and the discrimination is traumatic, the humiliation is traumatic.
Yes.
Sometimes people, as well as not only as a child, but also in the workplace, you know, uh, people with albinism are suffering, because companies are not aware that this is a person with albinism, this is a person with disability, and they must be catered for, which is why something we call sensitized. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Sensitized.
Sensitization.
Sensitization, yeah.
Sanitization. Yes,
Yeah.
sanitization. It must be there in the companies because our government gives credit to companies that hire people with disabilities. So if a company hires people with disabilities, then they are less likely to pay a lot of tax, you know.
Yeah.
So if a company hires people with disabilities, then it's less tax for them.
Mm.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because even with I'm glad that you mentioned employment because, you know, anybody who has a disability, and if you don't declare it, sometimes managers or bosses may assume that there's nothing wrong. But in the case of having albinism, for me, I have to declare my vision impairment. I have to
Mm-hmm.
declare that, so that I have to be accommodated and also for me to work efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm very happy that here in the UK, they have laws that covers disability that's called Equality and Diversity Act 2010, which covers equal opportunity. So it doesn't matter if you're race, religion, disability, or your status, whatever it is, that law covers everything. So when I go to work now and I say I have the visual impairment due to albinism, and some people may not know what albinism is, I just say, I'm visually impaired. So just to kind of like just say that. And obviously they make accommodation for me at work. And since they put me in a department which is accommodating for me. So it's important for PWAs that are looking for a job or going to employment. I feel it's important that they should declare their low vision. Otherwise, if you don't say it, then the
They
managers are
won't
going to
know.
be, they won't know exactly.
That's true. That's true.
And with
Because
yeah, with the mental health aspects of it as well. Can you imagine like you're going to work and you feel you're surrounded by people, and some people can be very nasty in the workplace,
mm-hmm,
and that does
they
affect.
can be.
But it's important that mental health is spoken about. Sorry, in the albinism community because on these talks is so important, sis, and that's a part of Yell for Change advocacy. Not touching about the physical aspects of having albinism. Want to touch the root, the emotional and the psychological, and that's a part of bringing healing. You know, okay, you're proud of the skin that you're in, but what about the mental part of it? You need to heal from the mental aspects of having albinism. We can't change who we are. We have to accept that's the skin we're in. But
For
we
me,
have,
I don't think it's about having albinism. I think
mhm,
it's the things that people put us through. It's
yes,
the things that our own African people put us through. It's not the
mhm,
fact that you have albinism. Uh, our African people put us through those things simply because we look different, you
yes,
know.
I
Because
agree.
when I walk down the street, I get comments, oh, yellow bone,
Yeah,
oh, this and that. So
yeah.
it's the albinism that causes the stressing and the attitude that people have towards people with disabilities and people with albinism, you know. So yeah.
I'm glad that we talk about this because, as you said, that it's not the albinism that causes us to have the mental, it's the way people treat us. And, to be honest, when I see
Mm-hmm.
parents and the thing that really breaks my heart as well, with family members, or especially if you're a nuclear family, that there are some parents that are abandoning their child because of that they can't handle the fact that the child was born this way. And that really breaks my heart, because there's people out there that wants to have children and they can't.
You are breaking.
I don't know. There must be some internet problems during this talk. I don't understand why. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. I'm saying that, you know, it's heartbreaking to know that children with albinism are suffering
I'm using your pillow
because of people's selfishness. And there are people who can't have children, who love to have children. And to know that parents or mothers are abandoning their child because of this, some people don't deserve to have children. And of course, this is going to have an impact on that child's mental health as well, because they want to wonder, why does my parents don't love me, or why is my parents or my family treating me this way?
I think the mental health also affects the parents as well, because what the child goes through, the parents also go through, you know.
Yeah.
Because it breaks the parents' hearts when the child goes through discrimination, you know. Yeah, I think the mental health applies in a lot of ways.
Deep subject, man. Deep subject for real. So, just to wrap up this interview, and I just want to take the time out to say thank you again for taking your time out with me on Albinism Talk with Marvelyn. Just to conclude, what is the message you would send out to people of melanin about albinism? What is your message?
We are only human. There's nothing magical about us. We are God's beautiful creations. So it's not for you to decide who we are. It's only God that put us on this earth and not you. Right. So
Amazing.
That's what I'd like to say.
Amazing. My message would be towards PWAs especially, would be to love yourself. Love yourself. Self-love is a must. And also forgive yourself for accommodating or even tolerating anything that's happened to you in your lives. I'm talking to the big people, by the way, not so much the children, but the big people, adults. Forgive yourself for allowing things that was not your fault, but you're blaming yourself. Don't blame yourself anymore for the things that's happened. Mm-hmm. And also be kind to yourself. And for the people of melanin, this is a message I want to deposit to you. Where, as Anneline said, we are human. We bleed just like you. We breathe just like you. And also, you know, our skin doesn't define us. You know, we are made to stand out. And I look at the rainbow and how the rainbow is set. There's different types of skin color. There's dark, there's tanned, and then you got us. Yeah, us.
Because actually this African skin color starts with us first, and then it goes and goes and goes and goes.
Yes. And one of the things that I love about, I don't know if the internet cut again. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm saying apparently Noah in the Bible, he had albinism. So I hear.
It's interesting.
We are the first people in this world.
It's interesting to know that, you know, albinism is here to stay. It's thousands of generations of people like us. And the torch has passed on. So, Anneline, for anyone to find out about Proud Albinism, do you have any socials that you can share with us? Any socials?
At the moment, they can just go to my personal Instagram. I am Anneline Mathiba. Mm-hmm. If they want to speak to me in person, they can inbox me on Instagram, or even go to my email, which is annelinemathiba4@gmail.com. at the moment, Proud Albinism is still in the process of registering. So when it comes to COVID, things are very slow at the moment. So I think I'm gonna have to register it again because I thought registering was like $700, but apparently you can do it for free on the government website. So
Amazing.
yeah, I did it on the government website. Still waiting. I'm gonna do it again. I don't know what's happening. So
Things
after
do
that,
take
I'm
time.
gonna have to do more and more events.
Yes. So thank you for being with me today, my beautiful queen and sister. Do me a favor. I want you to really say your slogan for me so the audience
I
can hear.
am, I am, and always will be a proud albinism woman.
Amen to that. So, guys, today we are so grateful to have this amazing guest. So, thank you for your time. And remember to please follow Yell for Change on all social media platforms. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, Yell for Albinism. Together we stand, together we can. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.
Mwah.
Mwah.